Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode number 477, Doubleshot number 391. Basically, about 9 episodes to go before I reach my 400th Doubleshot. Yep. And as for episodes overall for the whole series, we'll reach episode 500. After this one, there's roughly about 23 to go, which I might reach that far probably by sometime next month, maybe before the end of the year. Who knows? 2 IDW trades, and it's the two volumes of G.I. Joe Remaking Hero, volumes 14 and 16. Now, somebody thinking, what about 15? I couldn't get 15 yet. 15 is in order right now, so yeah. This book contains the Cobra World Order G.I. Joe American Hero Cobra World Order Prelude one shot and issues 19 to 21 of this particular event. This is a storyline that basically spanned about 8 issues of the series. Was it 8? No, it was 7 issues. Yep, it was 7 issues of the series, and this book contains the first 3 parts of the storyline plus the prelude that launched the crossover. Yeah. Yeah, it starts with issue 219 and wraps up with issue 225. It's a pretty interesting idea for a storyline, and it's not very long one per se. But you had been reading for G.I. Joe ever since issue 1 back in 1982, just to understand about the storyline plot premise of this thing. But this is really good. I don't want to spoil too much. This is like not like major shocking revelations in here, but it's just the start of this really awesome storyline. But the next book has nothing really much to do. It just deals with what happens after the storyline wraps up. Yeah. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. American Heroes always tend to be an awesome book to read. Yep. And here's volume 16, which contains issues 226 to 230. Yep. And this one just deals with the aftermath of the Cobra World Order. Basically, Cobra be on the run, and it looks like that Deathstroke's taking over Cobra Command. That's what it kind of looks like in here. Now, both books are written by Larry Hama. With artwork by S.L. Gallant. Yep. Yeah. That's who does both the writing. That is a creative team. And as far as I can tell, still the creative team of the book. And the most recent issue that came out for this series was issue 246. It's almost reaching 250. And my guess is by sometime next year, the series would probably hit, like, overall, like, 100 issues published by IDW, probably would be issue 255 when that reaches that far. Yep. Excuse me. Yeah. So, you just have basically G.I. Joe looking for Cobra. They don't technically find them per se, but it's still a good story, nonetheless. I don't want to spoil too much of this. If you're really interested in G.I. Joe, really interested, there is a way to catch up with the series. You have to get the 15 classic G.I. Joe Remaking Hero volumes, which collect the original 155 issue run. I would also recommend getting the classic G.I. Joe collects issues from this run up until here. So you got probably about 20 books to get, but it's well worth getting all these books because Remaking Hero always has to be an awesome book, and Larry Hama's written pretty much almost the entire series. Under IDW, he's written every single issue published under IDW. Marvel, I think he wrote every single one of the original 155 except for about 4 or 5 issues, but he generally wrote every single one of them. Okay? But I also give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Sorry for the shortness of the video. Shoot. But not much else to talk about aside from the fact that these two are just really good books. I hope to get volume 15 in soon, along with a bunch of other books in soon from the library. But yeah, that's really it for this episode. I know this episode is kind of short per se, but hey, I just want to get this one out of the way. It's just a quick book overall just to get done. Yep. Oh, maybe I should show some artwork. Yes. Yep. Here's a sample size of the guy's artwork. Yeah. So yeah, basically this book, which contains like 4 issues, and this one contains only 5. Yeah, that's the thing about these trades. They're not very long. Nope. If you want to get like the really big, bulky ones that contain more than 4 or 5 issues, you have to track down the classic G.I. Joe books. And I think currently there's been about 20 released so far. And generally, classic G.I. Joe books generally try to collect at least 10 to 12 issues apiece. So you're going to basically breeze through the series really quickly. Though the thing is, when you get past issue 100, it gets kind of bizarre for the next few years up until the final issue. That's the weird thing about the American Hero when it was published by Marvel. Yeah, it was really interesting for around the first 100 issues, and then it gets really bizarre. Like, the characters like change costumes, the G.I. Joe organization just completely disappears for like about 40 issues for no explanation. Yeah, just basically Snake Eyes and Scarlet, the other one's still around. Everyone else just completely disappeared. And these two are basically taking on Cobra, and it's implied Joe is still, the G.I. Joe organization is still around, but they just completely disappeared. It's like Larry Hama just wanted to drop these characters, just focus on Snake Eyes because he's a popular character, and he wanted to keep Scarlet around because Snake Eyes is in love with her. That's my only reason. One thing I can praise about this book is that they don't change characters' costumes. Now, this is actually one of 2 continuities of G.I. Joe running right now, published by IDW. You have this continuity, which is generally referred to as the Real American Hero continuity, which is a continuation of the continuity from Marvel, and you also have the IDW reboot continuity, which is part of the Hasbro basically Reconstruction universe, which they did have another G.I. Joe book published recently, but that book ended, and they said, there was like 4 books that ended, just so they can merge them to 2 books. Like, in the case of G.I. Joe, they ended this one and Mask. They ended these 2 books and merged them to become Scarlet Strike Force. I am not kidding about this. That's basically what they did. Also in this book, basically, Duke doesn't work for G.I. Joe anymore. He works for some other agency right now. Yeah, it's really bizarre. And Scarlet is the head of the Joes, which is okay, that's interesting. Oh yeah, and also, and that's what I thought was really weird. Cobra is headed by the new Cobra Commander, because in the IDW continuity, there's a bunch of Cobra Commanders. The current Cobra Commander is the most shocking thing I've ever seen. The Cobra Commander currently is the Baroness. I am not kidding about this. The Baroness becomes the new Cobra Commander. Yeah, as for the Cobra Commander who generally is in this book, yeah, this version of Cobra does not exist. Basically, it's like several different people who have worn that particular mask. They even had, I think it's like Tomax, I think his name is. Yeah, his twin brother got killed off at some point, and he defected to he basically surrendered himself to the Joes during the Cobra Civil War, and he basically became the starring character of the G.I. Joe Cobra series. But I should probably go through this in probably a comic book history episode, but it's just so interesting the IDW continuity. Basically, people like Chuck Dixon, Mike Costa doing. I should probably do a comic book history of this, okay? But I kind of want to extend this out more than 5 minutes, okay? Currently, right now, everything is fine. It's just a continuation of what Larry Hama is trying to do, okay? But that's it. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is episode 478, and the double shot will probably be 392, okay? But until then, I will see you there. Bye.